let it drop. Let it drop.
Welcome to From Change to Change. I am Consuela Gaines, also known as Sway.
And I am Marcus Simmons, also known as ChaChi.
And today we have the pleasure of being able to sit down with a gentleman who is running for Lafayette City Court judge. And I do have to put this out there. We are a nonprofit organization and we do not endorse any candidates. And so therefore we're not endorsing Mr. James Klock, who is with us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to come and visit with you.
Awesome. So we definitely wanted to provide this opportunity so our listeners and viewers can get to know a little bit more about you, your background, and what made you even want to run for judge. So you can start where you would like.
Oh, very broad. All right. Let's narrow it down. Currently, I'm an assistant district attorney here in Lafayette Parish and one of the 5 felony supervisors in the DA's office. Mm-hmm. And I teach business law over at UL. But where everything started for me was in Lafayette City Court under Judge Sloom, who's retiring.
Yeah.
I was his public defender whenever I started my practice years ago, while I built my civil practice on the side. After years in private practice, I closed down to go full-time as a federal public defender. But after a little while in the federal system, I realized that once folks got to that level, there was really, all roads led generally to one path, with a few exceptions. And while I'm all about accountability and responsibility, I'm also about restoration and reform. And there was less than an opportunity to do it there. I looked around and realized that here at the state prosecutor's office, I would have a much better opportunity to work to keep the community safe, to restore victims as much as we can and get justice for them, but also for rehabilitation for defendants so that we can break, if there's an underlying cycle, we can work with them to break that underlying cycle. If there's some deficiency that they have, we can work with them to fill that hole to where we can stop them coming back. If somebody, one-off problems, we can take care of that, no problem. But when we see certain severe offenses and then repeat offenders, oftentimes, if you pop the hood and look underneath, you realize that there's some level of mental health, some level of substance abuse, some level of poverty that I include education as a part of. And if we can find resources and community partners to help us with that, then we can help break that cycle to where they don't keep going through the system and can live a happy, prosperous life. They're members of our community too. When they do better, we do better. And so if I can work with community, our victims, and the defendants for rehabilitation, justice, and safety, then that's a day well spent. And if we can get them back on the right path before things get bad enough to where they get to district court where I'm at now, or federal court where I'm left, then I think that's the best level of service that we can. And I realized that just like leaving federal to come down to state, leaving state, go back to city court where it all started, is where we can do the most good, because we're catching folks, whether it be juvenile, traffic, misdemeanor. We're catching them right whenever they get off that path. We're able to get them back to where they can live that happy and prosperous life out of the criminal justice system and out in the community where we can all be happiest.
Right.
So I'm like that. Big motivator for running for this position.
Okay. But yeah, because that's usually, like you said, where people kind of get introduced to the criminal justice system is the misdemeanor charges, the smaller charges before they get to the district courts and federal courts. So, like you said, that's your inspiration for even wanting to run for this seat. So what are some things that you have planned that, you foresee yourself doing once you if you get elected into this seat?
Uh, when elected, I'll say that the first thing I'll do is learn the seat from that role, without a doubt. It's a big job, and it's going to take some time to learn.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm already comfortable in every proceeding that'll come before that court. I just have to, and I know it from being a defense attorney and a prosecutor in the courthouse, and I've had a civil proceeding go through there as well. Heck, it's in my role as adjunct over at UL in business law. One of my extra credit assignments every semester is I'll give the students half a letter grade if they'll just go spend a Tuesday over in city court. Twice out of every month, you have one judge is working an OWI docket, another judge is working a working prisoner court. It's a real interesting method that the court uses to make sure that we don't lose track of anybody that's in our local jail, LPCC. So one's on the bench for OWI court, one's on the bench for prisoner court, and then Jay Prather, our small claims arbiter, is on the bench doing civil. And I want them to go see the criminal proceedings, no doubt, get a feel for how the courthouse works in those settings and in those proceedings. But I want them to go and witness the small claims proceedings that goes through the court. Neighbors working with neighbors to settle their disputes in a friendly, informal way. And Jay Prather has been amazing in that role for the many decades that he's done it. They're able to watch him, even in a 2-hour period of time, get through upwards of 4 different conflicts and help people resolve it in a way that they're still going to be able to shake hands when they see each other out in the community. It's just that really friendly environment. So I've participated, again, started my career as a defense attorney there, and now as a prosecutor, that's my volunteer work for the office, is I go back to city court to handle our conflict cases when the prosecutors over there, for some reason, aren't able to handle it. Maybe they, in a previous job, represented one of the people in the case. And so I spend a number of days each month prosecuting there, and whenever they need a day off, I call it my substitute teacher days. I get to go back home and fill in for them. And it feels like that. It feels like, not like going to work. It really feels like going home and catching up with the cousins. We get the job done, don't get me wrong. But it really feels like going home. So I know it from all the various perspectives, as prosecutor, civil litigant, professor sending his students there, defense attorney, and I'll have to learn just the processes in that particular court for the judge. So I'll spend the first bit of my term getting really good at the job.
Okay.
And then also hit the ground running and learning where we can improve. That court runs fantastically well, okay? It needs no fixing. Fine-tuning at best, not fixing. Judge Shalom, Judge Bustani, Judge Edwards before her, Judge Bouillon. I came up in the Saloon Bouillon area of that court.
Okay.
They've been fantastic stewards of it. Some areas that I would look at. One, I want to focus in my career to be on our juveniles, with our future. And I'll say it plenty, but the easiest way to thin out adult court is to take care of them when they're kids.
Yes.
Find out what's going on, not just with the juvenile, but typically back home. What's happening in the family that's gotten them where they're at now. If we can identify those underlying issues and work with them to fix it, that we can give them hope that they can live a good life instead of just punishing them every time they get caught for something. So I'd love to get partners in the community as counselors or social workers that can get out in the houses, in the homes, in the neighborhoods, out in the community where the kids are at, and help to find out what help do they need, and then identify those resources in the community that we can use to give them that help. I'm about accountability and responsibility, no doubt. I'm also a huge fan of community service. Huge fan of community service. I like giving back to the community as a way of realizing we're not how to address the underlying issues. Give back to the community that we live in.
Right.
So I like to focus on the juveniles with some counseling. I like to focus and social work, community service. And I'd like to give them an option to be able to come in, and this one's going to take the heaviest lift. I have to get all the stakeholders on board and find the funding, of course, but I'd like to give them the option to opt into an evening session. I think a quarterly, if I were to stay late, and it would take, no doubt, some time to put together.
Right.
If I could stay late a few days out of every year to give the juveniles the option to not have to miss school to come and address a traffic ticket or a delinquency matter, then I think that's well worth the time. I mean, for the staff, we have to take care of them in the court as well, make sure it doesn't disrupt their lives. But I think we could affect it maybe through some flex scheduling or comp time, and maybe for new hires moving forward. But we'll make sure to not disrupt the lives of the current staff of the court, but also give the flexibility to where they can stay in the classroom.
Yeah.
Right? I'd like to offer that same option to adults to where we can opt in. Nobody incarcerated. I understand that the logistics of dealing with OJ, working with OJJ and working with the jail on that. But if somebody needs to go to work, I'd like them to go earn that day's wage.
Right. Right.
If I miss a day, it's going to be all right. If I miss a day's work, I'm not getting kicked out. My lights are staying on, but we're not all that blessed.
Right.
And so I want to make sure that if that one shift is the difference between them making rent and not, that it's rational for them to want to make rent. And I want to give them the opportunity to not to choose between the two. In the same boat that if somebody has to be home to pick up their kids from the school bus and nobody else is there until everybody else gets off work at the end of the day, I'd love them to have that option.
Right.
And I think if we do that even on a quarterly basis, then we can accommodate those, keep the students in the classroom, folks at the job site, and parents with their kids. And I think that flexibility for the overall community would really be beneficial. And I think we can do it at a low cost. I really do. And I'll tell you, it's not unusual in the parish. 5 out of 6 municipalities in Lafayette Parish currently take care of their traffic and misdemeanor offenses in the evening.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause I was thinking of Judge Garrett. You know, with her drug court and stuff, a lot of that is done in the evenings. That's not, during the daytime, so
I applaud all the effort she puts into
it can be done.
If anybody's ever come and watched Judge Garrett's drug court, I'll tell you, she treats it as a ministry. She truly does. It's an inspiration. I mean, credit to her, to Judge Bro with the juvenile drug court, and Judge Beal with the sobriety court. And now Judge Garrett has gotten approval for a veterans court.
Oh, wow.
I believe that's being incorporated into the overall drug court
Awesome.
structure. And so those 3 judges do an amazing job in those programs.
Right.
And I want to be able to work with them as much as possible from the city court to make sure that the whole city can benefit from them.
Absolutely. So yeah, you get in that seat, you would definitely have your hands full, especially being able to partner with those folks.
Absolutely.
And they're doing some amazing work.
They truly
They're doing
are.
some amazing work. That's some really, really good work. So let's talk about something besides you being a candidate. Let's talk about James Klock.
Okay.
The man. What is it that some of our viewers would find interesting about you that they could be relatable with? Something that you like to do in your spare time, or some hobby, just something relaxing that most people don't even know about you.
Okay. Well, the most fun thing that I'm loving to do in my spare time these days, when there is some, it takes priority over everything, even the campaign, is wedding planning.
Ah,
I'm blessed.
yeah.
My fiance and I are in the midst of the campaign, got engaged, and are planning our wedding. And this is an amazing season.
Excited,
the two of us.
excited. Congratulations.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Campaigning on its own, wedding planning on its own, both 2 very big undertakings.
Yes, yes.
You put them both in the pot and mix it up, and it's a full meal.
Okay.
It's a full meal.
I can only imagine, because on top of you door knocking and getting out in the community, shaking hands, getting to know people, you're also picking out what hors d'oeuvres, what they're gonna have, and stuff like that. So that's gotta be a huge undertaking on both sides. On both sides.
Every venue you can think of, whether it be for the campaign or scoping out weddings. We'll know Lafayette top to bottom, left to right, no question about it by the end of this.
Oh, wow.
It's been fantastic. It really is.
Good.
So I'm blessed to find the woman that I love, for her to say yes, for her to have an amazing family to become a part of. And it's really capping off the experience. Truly is.
Good. Yeah, that's a lot going on at one time. Congrats.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Now, I first met you during it wasn't the Warren Clinic.
It may have been
Was it the Warren Clinic?
with Jeff Culver.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
it was.
And I think you were volunteering,
Yes, ma'am.
providing some assistance during that Warren Clinic. And so is that something, Judge Edwards, may he rest in peace, was a mentor of mine. And he and I had the opportunity to do a Warren Clinic together. And it was, oh my God, it was so successful. Unfortunately, we didn't get the opportunity to do the next one.
Right.
He passed away before. And the Warren Clinic was such a huge success. So many people are afraid to go into the courts.
Well, you remember from the Warren Clinic, so many people were afraid to walk in the
They were
door.
afraid. They really were. And I was one of the first people they saw coming in, and they was like, police, I ain't nobody gonna jump out.
Is this a trap?
Yeah, they thought.
I mean, there were a
Yeah,
number of
they
people
were
that came
scared.
in that you could see it in their eyes.
You could.
But I'm a believer that the more of those that we have, the more the community gets used to it and trust it. And so, yes, I'm more than happy to volunteer.
Yes.
Yeah. Plus,
Yeah.
from Judge Colbert, it's always going to be a good time.
Always.
Yeah. Job gets done, but we plenty of cutting up on the way.
Always. Absolutely.
Yep.
He and I argue about our Cowboys and Saints all the time. But that particular program, because we're a nonprofit and our focus is justice impacted people, formerly incarcerated people. And you are catching folks before. You would be catching them before they go and graduate into the 19 JDC. So are there any particular plans that you have of developing any programs for youthful offenders?
I'd be happy to, at the beginning, join in with any community partners that already have something in place and learn. Going around the campaign, a lot of the ideas, whether it be night court for the juveniles, that option. I say night, but it's really evening, right?
Right.
Evenings. And plenty of trials, frankly, last well into the evening already. So we're used to keeping the doors open a few extra hours in those circumstances. But whether it be that, whether it be something as simple as being willing to adjust my court calendar to the school system's calendar, to where I'm not trying to hold trials or substantive court days for the juveniles during that first week of school, during graduation, or standardized testing. Those are things that have come from the community.
Right.
And so
Makes sense.
I want to stay active in the community and listen to find out how best we can serve it from inside the court.
Yeah.
And that's where I think we draw the best inspiration from, is from the folks that we serve. That's it. I mean, I've got a servant's heart, and I'm going to bring that to the bench.
Awesome.
And you can't represent and serve the community without being out in it.
Right.
That's a fact. That is a fact. I think he really hit the nail right on the head with that one, because we too often see people who are running for an office, they get elected, and we don't see them again. And that has become a concern in the communities that we serve. Like, we only see folks while they campaign and make all these promises, and we give them our vote and we never see them again. How do you plan to address that?
Simply by being different, continuing to go. One of the best parts of this experience has been learning every passion this city has. I mean, there's a party with a passion or a party with a purpose every night of the week. There are folks from all over the community that have their own special interests, their own passion that they're pursuing, that taken together just really builds up the whole, and getting to participate and learn about each of them has been amazing. There are events that I don't plan to miss for as long as I can possibly go to them. Councilman Rubin has this, he helps put on this amazing Easter egg hunt every year.
Yeah.
Getting to go to that, like this year, we were over there helping to put out eggs. And I'm that one that, as I'm walking around with a basket, like carefully looking for spots to hide them. Here's one where I have to search. Here's one. I'll look over. Somebody's just on a little side-by-side throwing them out like they're Easter eggs, or Mardi Gras beads, rather. I finally got the game. It's like, oh, this is volume. But getting to participate in that and seeing just the pure joy on so many children's faces by just giving up one day, one morning, to go out there and help out and be a part of it, how could you not want to go back?
Right.
Every year.
Right.
And so that's going to be a big part of it, is just getting up and going. I mean, showing up, even in my class at UL. I make attendance and participation both grades for the semester. And the underlying lesson to folks is, if you don't show up, if you don't participate, if you don't get involved, you're never going to be as successful, and you're not going to be able to reach and impact nearly as deeply or as broadly as you would hope to. And so I practice what I preach, I practice what I teach. I'll show up and I'll keep showing up and I'll keep participating.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Any other programs that you might not be mentioning, that you know is, well, it looks promising, right, to you right now once you get in office? I'm taking your lead. When I get in office, I
Man,
caught that.
I'm going to manifest that.
We caught that. So when you get in office, any programs that you're thinking about, like that you could share a little details about? Because you mentioned about trauma, and all the times we've heard you talk, you always mention about the people going through things, trauma, how to fix. You have any idea that's you've been swirling through your brains that you know that you want to implement, or are you just going to play it by ear?
One, going back to the idea that when the folks come before the court, I help to identify those underlying issues and work person by person. That's biggest focus in the court. Legislative and executive branches, each one get to go out and be proactive.
Yes.
And work with large swaths of the community all at once. But in the court system, we're limited to individual cases and controversies, one by one, as folks bring their problems, bring their disputes to the court, and that includes the city through the prosecutor's office, neighbors through the civil and small claims divisions. We can work with every one of them individually to help affect their world. And then it builds, one by one. Everything comes together to improve the whole. That's kind of the focus of the court system. But the underlying question on any programs in particular looking to develop, getting the counselors, getting the social workers. Heck, here's one that I'd like that we're going to have to get everybody who needs to say yes, whether it be on the legislative side, on the judicial side of the Supreme Court. But imagine if we could get a little bit of a bump in the traffic fines or some other revenue source, but it sounds like looks like that might be a right field to look to first. Not much. Get with the actuaries, get with the accountants, and figure out how much it would take on each, and get with the city to see if we can't use that funding that comes from it as a dedicated source to buy a citywide bus pass. Just like the Lafayette Parish school system, those student IDs being folks' bus pass, if somebody has traffic, juvenile, misdemeanor, small claims, eviction court, civil, and they're burdened by lack of transportation, if that's the barrier for them to getting to court and handling their business, how do we ease that and let them use their subpoena as their bus pass? That's something that I'd love to work on. I can't tell you how many folks, whenever I was a public defender, just like with the ones that needed to leave court to go get their kids, how many folks would miss court because they were coming on foot from across town,
Right.
right? Or walking at the very last second,
Yes.
just drenched on a fun week like we're having now.
Right.
Right? It's not cool outside. When they come clear across town on foot,
They lot. And to be embarrassed and charge that by the judge.
right?
Mhm.
So that's something I'd like to work on, without a doubt.
That is awesome. Well, this time always goes by too fast, but I just want to thank you for sitting down with us and having this conversation. And I wish you the best of luck on your campaign trail.
Thank you, Spade Josh. I very much appreciate y'all having me. This has been an amazing experience. The campaign, the engagement, getting to meet wonderful folks and get the message out to the city. I mean, I need Lafayette's support and vote, and I'm going to earn it on the bench and after.
How can they get in contact with you?
They can get in contact through our website at jamesklock.com. That's James Klock with a K, KLOCK.com, or through Facebook or social media or Instagram at James Klock for Judge on Facebook or James Klock for City Court Judge on Instagram.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for joining from Change to Change. We will see you next time.